Minecraft hacks and hackers. How did it go from using cheat engine to not take damage in a video game, to extorting millions of dollars, taking down an entire country's internet and orchestrating the biggest distributed denial of service attack or DDoS attack in history? Today we'll embark on a journey through time as we delve into the most notorious exploits, hacks, glitches and hackers in Minecraft's nearly 15-year history. Let's dive in. Minecraft made its debut in 2009 and it had a long way to go before becoming the beloved game we know today. But hacking wasn't a foreign concept even back then. As early as 2009, players were already tinkering with hacking the game. Initially, these hacks were modest, offering features like faster flight in creative mode and no-clip abilities. They were more akin to mods than hacks. One of the earliest examples of this was World of Minecraft. Developed around the same time, Minecraft was testing its multiplayer functionality. As survival mode was released into the game, a tool was created called the Inventory Edit tool, allowing players to spawn items into their inventory, granting themselves full diamond armor or any desired items. At the time it didn't seem particularly alarming since players could only do it in their own survival worlds as multiplayer wasn't a thing yet. And if you think about it, we have a similar thing today in the form of the /give command. Fast forward to 2010 when multiplayer was finally released in August. Now let's revisit the Inventory Edit tool. Its significance might not be immediately apparent today, but back then Minecraft servers lacked the robust server-side functionalities we have now. This meant that the Inventory Edit tool could be used on any server and the server owners had little recourse against it. With the addition of multiplayer, hacking became more prevalent, leading to the evolution of the Inventory Edit tool into MC Cheat. This marked the transition from a simple inventory editor to a bit more of something resembling a hacking client. MC Cheat offered a small range of cheats, including flight, fireproofing, invincibility and weather control, fundamentally altering the gameplay experience. Cheat Engine also made its debut in Minecraft during this time, allowing players to manipulate game mechanics such as granting infinite health or blocks. And if you are like me, this is the tool many of us may have started our so-called hacking journey with during our childhood. 2010 also witnessed the emergence of the first anarchy Minecraft server, 2b2t, where players could engage in unrestricted gameplay without the fear of repercussions. And while the server owner Housemaster might not have realized it himself, he had just created a cyber warfare battleground for over a decade to come. The most notable player from this era was probably Phobos, who gained notoriety for employing exploits like the Thunderbolt exploit on the 2b2t server. The exploit used an oversight in Minecraft's code that allowed the coordinates of thunder to be tracked down through packets, as the sound of thunder was global and would only strike where players were located. The exploit would send the coordinates to Phobos in chat, which allowed Phobos to find players, kill them and grief their bases. As 2010 drew to a close with the release of Minecraft Beta 1.0, server-side functionality was finally introduced, empowering servers to sync player stats like their inventory and health to the server, meaning the players couldn't manipulate these stats without hacking into the server itself. This gave a bit more control back to the server owners to combat cheaters more effectively. That is, until we enter 2011. 2011 will show us our first glimpse of the hacked clients we have today, one of the first being the Reliant client. The client was created by the player Sirenfall, and along with the client, Team Abolition was founded. Reliant was a private client, meaning you couldn't just download it off some sketchy media firelink. The only ones who had access to this client were the members of Team Abolition, and they used this power to grief, hack and terrorize servers for YouTube views for years to come. The solution had to be found fast, as no anti-cheat plugins had been made yet. However, that solution came on the 29th of August 2011, when the no-cheat plugin was created. Within days of its release, every server quickly armed themselves with it to try to combat the ever-increasing number of cheaters. And to its credit, no-cheat did a pretty good job of preventing most of the movement hacks and nukers. But before we go into 2012, our friend Phobos has a tiny surprise for the 2b2t server owner Housemaster. That tiny surprise would be a Minecraft plugin coded by him that Housemaster so kindly accepted and installed onto the 2b2t server, unknowingly to him, giving Phobos backdoor access to the server, where he caused a bit of chaos before it was discovered and patched. 2012 was an exciting year for Minecraft hackers and exploiters. In the summer of 2012, the Death Note, I mean books and quills, are released, which will become probably the most exploitive item in Minecraft's history, starting in 1.3.2 with the level 32,747 enchanted books. Just by inputting a pattern of text into the book and signing it, this book could then be used to kill all players by one-hitting them, even in full diamond, or crashing smaller servers thanks to its looting 32,747 enchant. That would drop so many items it would crash the server if you hit a mob with it. Later, this item would cause more headache as it could ban and dupe and even more. This was also the year the famous Notus client was created, and I can remember from my childhood this was my first door into the world of hacking clients as well. Notus was a free client and featured all the fancy gimmicks, as well as kill aura, which hadn't been seen on a public client before, and that means no cheat had no way of detecting it. So out with the old and in with the new. With Notus being left in the dust, this new challenger Notus would require better security measures to fight against it, and this prompted the development of No Cheat Plus in response to the escalating arms race between hackers and server owners. No Cheat Plus again helped fight off most of the different hacks used in the new client, except Kill Aura, which would have to be detected manually by admins by watching fights for another few years. But No Cheat Plus's victory would be short-lived, as our friend Phobos took back his scripts from his friend called X0XP in the end of 2012. X0XP decided to make his own client called Adolf. Much like the Adolf 80 years ago, this one was special. It had numerous No Cheat Plus bypasses, as well as a logout spot which would show where the players logged out. But X0XP added a little extra to his client before sharing it with his friends. He installed a backdoor that he could activate simply by typing a command into Minecraft chat, and what this command would do is force all the players with the Adolf client installed to whisper X0XP their coordinates unknowingly to themselves, leading to the griefing of multiple 2v2d bases before it was discovered thanks to a coding error he had made that showed the players who were in Nether that they had sent their coordinates to him. 2013 may have been a relatively calm year, but it set the stage for more sinister developments in the following years. Phobos is credited with creating the NHack client along with the players of the Tyranny gang from the 2b2t server during somewhere around this time. This is another activity that gained Phobos infamy, because he sent a screenshot of two players' desktop to them using a backdoor he put into NHack. After this, Phobos really hasn't seen the spotlight anymore, even though he can still sometimes be seen logging into the 2b2t server till this day. And before we wrap 2013 up, we have to head over to the Russian equivalent of the Bucket forum, as in October a new Minecraft launcher would be released, TLauncher. Now TLauncher today is without the question the biggest Minecraft cracked client to ever exist. But this version of TLauncher wasn't exactly the same we know today. TLauncher was made by one player, Arthur Kushainov. Now this original post doesn't exist anymore, and also you can't use the Wayback Machine to access it. So I contacted Arthur myself, and he was actually kind enough to provide me with the earliest version of his launcher he still has, and the source code for it. So if that is something you would be interested in to see in a separate video, let me know in the comments below. It quickly gained some popularity in Russia, and in a month a website called ru/minecraft.org contacted Arthur to work together to create a new launcher with them. Arthur, being 15 at the time, of course accepted the deal. However, it wasn't ever agreed on who exactly owned the code of TLauncher, probably because the game was stolen anyway. But ru/minecraft.org had some extra plans. This TLauncher would have some scummy practices taking place that made some changes to the computers of its players. For starters, it blocked every Minecraft related website, and if you would try to visit a Minecraft related website by either typing it in the address bar or even clicking a link to it, it would automatically redirect you to ru/minecraft.org and also make your browser's homepage to the same site. Now, I contacted the original developer Arthur myself, and I asked him about the redirects and the weird practices that took place. He asked me not to quote them directly, and out of respect for his privacy, I won't. But the short version is, Arthur sees his own responsibility in the situation. However, from our conversation, I got the feeling that Arthur, being 15 at the time, didn't exactly understand the seriousness of his situation. ru/minecraft.org developers kinda downplayed the seriousness of it, saying it is basically the same unwanted behavior some Internet Explorer toolbars would do. And once Arthur actually realized the seriousness, the group split in 2015 and Arthur went on to work on other things. Heading into 2014, we start digging into actual crimes. The new kid on the block for this year is the worst hacked client. Thanks to a simple UI and more controllability, it quickly becomes one of the most famous hacked clients. Additionally, exploits like the command block exploit emerged, allowing players to gain OP status on creative servers. And in the end of 2014, perhaps the most notorious Minecraft hacker ever, going by the handle Anna-senpai, starts his first journey in Minecraft by launching illegally distributed denial of service or DDoS attacks against Minecraft servers and the university he studies in. But what's the big deal anyway? DDoSing isn't that uncommon, and what threat could an 18-year-old really pose except taking down a Minecraft server for a few minutes? Well, turns out a lot, because this 18-year-old had created and armed himself with the most powerful botnet ever created, Mirai. But Anna-senpai is an aggressive go-getter like you, so he soon figured out there is money to be made in DDoS attacks, and heading into 2015, the company ProTraff Solutions was founded by Anna-senpai. ProTraff is a protection service made to protect people and servers from DDoS attacks. But don't let that fool you. Anna-senpai didn't turn over a clean page in life, no. Instead, his company attacks Minecraft servers protected by rival companies, and the companies themselves with DDoS attacks using Mirai, and then offers them protection for pay. Verse 2.0 was also released in 2015, taking full advantage of Java 8, adding ghost hands, improving the UI and performance, making it harder to spot, and so on. And in the middle of 2015, a new domain is registered, TLauncher.org. Our friend Arthur stops cooperation with the people over at ru/minecraft.org, causing ru/minecraft to get full control over the launcher, which they quickly then fill with ads, but more on that later. Moving on to 2016, and we can finally detect kill aura, so paid ghost clients like Vape Client, Impact Client and Future Client are released and start gaining popularity. What's special about these is due to the fact they are paid, not many people use them, meaning anti-cheat developers have less information about them, which makes them harder to patch. Ghost clients also feature so much controllability that you can fine-tune the exact amount of hacking you're doing to stay as hidden as possible, and some even feature self-destruct buttons to quickly delete all traces of the hacks, in case an admin requests you to screen share. Anna-senpai finally gets bored as well, so to try to clean his tracks, he releases the Mirai network to the public, which causes the entire world's internet to tremble in fear, as big companies like Twitter and Netflix are hit by attacks of Mirai botnets, and it also takes the entire country of Liberia offline for a bit. 2016 is also the year YouTube channel Open was created by Graham Ivan Clark, who isn't a hacker but a popular YouTuber at the time, who became infamous for scamming his fans and other YouTubers, hosting fake giveaways and DDoSing players on Minecraft servers. And although Graham wasn't exactly a hacker like others in this video, he deserves a mention because while he is playing Minecraft right now, in a few years he will be in prison.
Scamming people out of their hard-earned money is always wrong.
And 18-year-old Graham Ivan Clark will face the consequences. The Twitter hacker pled guilty to 30 felony charges of communications fraud and other state charges.
And in September of 2016, TLauncher Inc. would go on to register a patent in Russia for a computer program, TLauncher, which was also granted to them. What followed was a shitstorm of lawsuits. Everyone and everything where TLauncher was mentioned except TLauncher.org was hit with a takedown request. Now, funnily enough, what this also did was get rid of the ru/minecraft.org's scummy TLauncher, as this was now hidden in Google and no one basically even noticed it got replaced. TLauncher's legitimacy is still doubted about today, as it has some sussy code, downloads the jar files from TLauncher, not the official Minecraft servers, and then there are accusations of TLauncher being used as a botnet to attack Minecraft servers with DDoS, but thankfully they themselves made an entire article explaining why it isn't spyware, so I will leave that final decision up to you about that. but I definitely do not recommend using it. One thing is for sure, TLauncher isn't going away anytime soon, as they are largely based in Russia, so there is little Microsoft can do about it. As 2017 unfolds, the Minecraft hacking scene evolves further, setting the stage for new exploits and vulnerabilities to emerge. 2B2T still remains as one of the main battlegrounds of hacked clients, and new ones get released every week, if not day. And by 2018, advancements like the Baritone Bot came to the forefront, demonstrating the ever-expanding capabilities of hackers within the Minecraft ecosystem. Baritone is an advanced AI that can basically execute tasks for you, for example building a base, or mining, or walking millions of blocks. 2018 is also the year our friend Open, who has by now been scamming his fans and YouTubers for 2 years, moves on from scamming kids in Minecraft to SIM swapping attacks and steals around $3 million in Bitcoin through this act in the next 2 years. Heading into 2019, we find the 2B2D server can't be logged into for a bit. So what's causing this? That would be the sign exploit that allowed some players to place a chunk full of signs that have hundreds and hundreds of lines of numbers each, eventually causing anyone trying to load that chunk in to instantly crash. As we approach 2020, the global COVID-19 pandemic triggers a resurgence of interest in Minecraft, leading to an influx of players and heightened activity on the Anarchy servers. However, this also provides fertile ground for new hacking endeavors, such as the development of the Phobos client and the subsequent controversy surrounding its backdoor functionality. A new hacking client is being worked on called Phobos, but some 2B2T players called the Imperium aren't too happy about it being a private client, so they use the worst hacked client, attach a token logger to it and send it to the Phobos developer, who actually installs it. So now these players stole the Phobos code and could use it for their own gain. Out of fear of Imperium using Phobos to take over 2B2T, Phobos had the best end crystal PvP hacks at the time. The 4 original Phobos developers now released their client to the public, only this is 2B2T, so you already know they added a backdoor that stole the player's coordinates. But the Phobos developers didn't stop there. They got greedy, as Phobos allegedly also stole your Minecraft account and your Chrome login information and your Discord information. Some players had a feeling this was happening and rumors started to spread. One of the original 2B2T players, a player by the name Ox22, discovered the malware hiding in Phobos and exposed it to the public, causing the makers of Phobos to fix it, although it was already too late as the trust was broken and people quickly ditched it. Players also later reported the developers of Phobos to the FBI, but there are many rumors going around about what data Phobos actually grabbed from Chrome was rather Discord tokens and not banking info or accounts. And this would make sense, as I couldn't find anything about legal action being taken against the developers. Open makes his return, and instead of Bitcoin scams or Minecraft this time, he and some of his teenage buddies scammed the workers at Twitter, gaining access to the social media platform's admin tools, and what follows is one of the biggest celebrity hacking scandals to date.
It turns out a 17-year-old was allegedly behind that Twitter hack that broke into the accounts of former President Obama, VP Biden, Elon Musk, Bill Gates, Uber, and others.
Now keep in mind, Cram or Open is still only 17 here, and his friends weren't any older. So what does this group of teenagers do? They run a crypto scam. The Twitter accounts of Apple, Elon Musk, Jeff Bezos, Barack Obama, Mr. Beast and Kanye West, to name a few, had their accounts compromised and used to promote the scam. As one might expect, they were caught, so this will be the last we hear of Open in this video. He was sentenced to 3 years in prison and 3 years of probation after taking a plea deal. Open was released February 16th, 2023 and is currently out on probation. 2021 sees the emergence of one of the most dangerous exploits to ever exist in Minecraft and the entire internet as a whole. Log4j vulnerability that allows the attacker to execute code on the target's computer through simply inputting some string in Minecraft chat is discovered, allowing for servers to be crashed, Minecraft and other accounts to be stolen, installing malware on the target's computers and much more. 2B2T is quickly brought offline for an entire day to try to patch the exploit. Our friend 0x22 or Ox22 develops a workaround on the 2B2T server to execute the exploit regardless of the fix they made, opening up calculator on the computers of 200 plus users online during that time, as well as a text box saying "Hello from Minecraft RCE exploit" smiley face. But what Ox22 did next would shock probably everybody. He released a new wave of the exploit, but this time instead of opening up the calculator, he sent a payload that would fix the vulnerability in the target's computers, thus protecting them from the exploit. However, where there is good, there will always be evil, and a fellow player on the 2B2T by the name of Redstoner had also discovered a workaround. Needless to say, Redstoner didn't send the fix with the exploit, but instead would steal the Minecraft accounts of many players on the server. This year also the infamous NoCom exploit was used that created a heat map of players on the server in real time. This exploit alone found 15,000 bases, and this exploit is just the surface of another exploit soon to come. And if someone ever tells you university math is useless, think again. This exploit is basically fully built up on math. What this exploit achieved was unheard of. I won't go into too much detail about this exploit, as we have a more recent exploit that does the same thing essentially. But more on that later. Basically, they created a heat map of every player on the server using this exploit, compromising everyone's location on the server. As we begin 2022, we take a trip to, you guessed it, the 2B2T server, where some Russian group found the boat TP exploit that would let people theoretically travel millions of blocks in an instant using end portals, boats, pistons, and a hacked client feature called automount. There is also some speculation that a duplication glitch was found at the same time, however I didn't find any evidence to support this. 2023 was kind of a quiet year in Minecraft's hacking scene, however there were some new techniques used to hack the oldest Minecraft server, still online till this day. For the first time in 13 years, MinecraftOnline.com was hacked. An unknown hacker used social engineering to be taken on to the server's staff team as a developer. Unknowingly to the server owners, the hacker then installed a backdoor into some plugins that would allow him to spawn in any item in-game, which he then sold for money, as well as giving him access to the server logs and information about the players registered there, from their email addresses all the way to their Discord accounts and more. Upon discovery, the server staff took legal action against the hacker, involving Europol, the Discord developers, and the Gradle developers in the case to investigate. Now, the year 2024 isn't even half over, but it has already brought us something we never had before: the real working ForceOP exploit. ForceOP exploits have been rumored to be around for years and years, but despite all the clickbait, a true ForceOP exploit has never actually been found. That is until January of this year, where a group of players found an exploit in the Vulkan anti-cheat plugin, allowing them to OP themselves on any server running Vulkan in its default configuration. And most recently we have the Randar exploit, and I gotta say, I am probably impressed by this exploit the most. We meet some familiar faces in the people who have contributed to this exploit, for example Ox22. And Randar is the improved version of the feared NoCom that terrorized the 2B2T server for almost 3 years before getting fixed in 2021. This exploit still exists in Minecraft versions beta 1.8 all the way through the fully released 1.12.2 version, meaning it existed for basically over 10 years. See, in beta 1.8 villages were added to Minecraft, and at the time Notch wasn't the professional programmer he is today, so he made a fundamental mistake in the game's code. Now many games use what is called a random number generator, or RNG, to determine many different things, and Minecraft isn't any different. It uses RNG to decide where to spawn villages and mobs, or where to drop items and more. Usually in games, all of these systems have their own RNG generator. However, that's not what Notch did. Instead, he used the same RNG generator for all of Minecraft's RNG actions. Now this meant that all of Minecraft's RNG was linked, which basically allowed some players to determine everyone's location in the server using a bit of math. They mined blocks, and by observing where the blocks would fall, they could then use reverse math to determine where players were located. Now, I don't get the exact science behind it myself exactly, but FitMC did a great job of explaining it in his video. But what I do know is, break blocks, throw the file there, and boom, heat map forms. You can now see where the players have been or are, thanks to this website made by Rebane 2001. Now, we don't have time to talk about every hacked client that has been created over the years, since there are over 350 of them, and we won't go into every duplication glitch, since there has been a duplication glitch in basically every version of Minecraft, and Sipover did a pretty good job of going through their history in his video. But I did list as many hacked clients as I could, just so you can get a sense of how crazy the competition between these hackers and anti-cheat developers are. This includes our history of Minecraft exploits and hackers. If you want to see the very first original version of TLauncher, hit that like button and subscribe.